Hi. This is going to confuse you, isn't it? I'm here on a Tuesday. So Sarah's in her Chanda, Create and Craft on Thursday. So it's always a bit of a rush and everything for me to come over on Thursday. So you'll have to make do with 2 different programs with Sarah on Thursday, and you're going to have to miss me until, be a week Thursday. So how are you all? What's the weather like with you? It's trying really hard to be sunny here. We've had the door open in the shop and it's been lovely. Hi Iran. We are doing a scalloped notice board today. I don't know how it's going to turn out because we were away over the weekend. I worked Saturday and then did some work at home and then finished off stuff for Create and Craft. So it wasn't until I got home yesterday after being away that I actually thought, I better have a look at this. So I've no idea how it's going to turn out. It's looking all right. But I had to create a pattern from an idea that I saw in IKEA. So we're working on that, okay? So how are you all? Hiya, Nikki. Are you here or are you in Spain yet? And, oh, yes, amazing giveaways on Create and Craft on Thursday. If you buy something on the 7 o'clock show, you get to win everything. You get a chance to win. It's not everybody that will win. You get a chance to go into a draw and you can win whatever's on the counter. Create and Craft have got their 20th birthday this month, so they're doing all special things. So you win everything that's sitting on that counter, and I think we've got Liberty Fabrics and there's some June Taylor and all of that type of thing. You get to win all of it, and if you join in on the is it 11, Sarah? The 11 o'clock. It might be 11 or 12, you get put into a draw for a sewing machine. It is a Brother sewing machine, if I remember rightly. Thought it might be here. It's an F something or other. 11 a.m. Hiya, Ali. Sorry about missing something in your package. It's in the post, I promise. I'm not just saying it, it is in the post. So hiya, Carol. I've just done yours as well. So it's a Brother worth 320 quid, and all you've got to do is buy something off us. Little on us. So right, we are doing scalloped notice board. So come from from by here to over there. So I think that's the right one. Okay, so here we are. I saw this picture or this thing in IKEA, and it's made from felt. So if you made it from very stiff felt, it would be a lot easier than this. So I created a couple of these different things. I ended up using, I think it's 4-inch. Is that 4-inch? You know my circles, oh no, actually works out at under that. So if I was to go 1/4 inch there, yeah, I think I should have brought it with me. I used the inside of my 4-inch, I think, so this would be about 3 inches of the circles. You know, I've got the 10 circles from Andy at Crafty UK. They just come. I've got 10, I think it's 10 up to 10 inches. So I've left 1/4 inch in between for sewing purposes, okay? And just then did half a circle, and I wanted it to be more that shape, which is why I've elongated it like this, okay? So this is the finished thing that you would then cut out on. This is my drawing. So I drew the circle and then I just elongated it because I wanted it to be elongated, and you end up with this. Okay, it's not very straight, and my top stitching is rubbish, but I was tired. I was very, very tired, but it turned out quite well. I've used calico on the back. I like calico. I use a lot of calico in things because I do like it. So we're on to the red one, okay? So I know that I want, this is my orange, and I know the red is going to go with the orange, and I want these bumps, I want them to just cover that bump there. So this is about as far as I've got. So I know that I need to start this end. Now you can make this as big or as small as you like. The reason I've gone with this size is because this is the size of scraps I had left over from the table mats that I've done for Hochanda. Okay, so now you know why I'm just working on this size. Plus the fact it's to show you how it's done. Now you could make these triangular. Sarah did say something about doing prairie points, but you could do it the same sort of method. Okay, so I'm drawing this in. This is going to be my sewing line. Okay, I'm going to sew it first and then cut them out. All right, now when I get to the end of there, I'm going to move this along. I'm going to place that by there. Okay, like that. So I know now that that will fit in. Okay, and I keep going until I run out, although I'm going to chop off quite a bit. Okay, so there we have our little scallop. Now I've taken a piece of calico and I've put a stiffener on it, interfacing. If you wanted it to be stiffer, I would put it on both sides, but we don't need to. So we're now going to put this right sides together with my red fabric. Okay, like that, and I'm going to put it right sides together, and I'm going to put a couple of pins in. Blimey, these are more like hat pins than anything. Look at it. Poor old Dave, he's all stabbed. Been stabbed by these things. Okay, so making sure that this bit, my red, is at least covering where I've scribbled. Okay, like that. Now we're going to take this over to the sewing machine, and I'm just going to follow this line as near as damn it as I can all the way along. Okay, so over to the machine. Why are we having Gerard Butler? Oh, Gerard Butler. You can keep Hugh, whatever his name is. What number am I pressing for? Oh, Gerard Butler to sit on the counter. See, I'm more of a Jensen Ackles person, me. He's my bit of totty that I'm getting knotty. Right, okay. So so Sarah's told you about the counter sale on Thursday. Saturday. And then we're off to the retreat on Sunday, so that's very cool. So we're just at the moment doing goodie bags and setting up for demos and things. So we're just following these lines near as damn it. Alright. As you can see, I'm not an exact science. Never have been. So we're going along here. I'm going to have Jonah in here now. He's going to hear the machine and he's going to think it's Granny. There we go. So what else have we got coming up? So we've got that. We're trying to find a venue to do another Tuffet class. But maybe doing it over the 2 days because everybody is just finishing up their Tuffets and needing them put together now. So I think with a 2-day venue, they'd probably get them done to go home with. I hated sending people home without a finished Tuffet. I've got Grace in this afternoon. She's going to finish hers. So hopefully that will we'll get there eventually. Right, back over here. I think that's the right one, isn't it? Which one are we going to? I'm waiting for it to catch up with me. There we are, that's right. So, as you can see, I have sewn on that line, going wiggly woggly along those lines. Okay, and I'm just going to now using pinking shears, I'm just going to cut out giving myself curves. If only giving yourself curves was as easy as this. I could use the pinking shears and refine the curves. So we're along here. Try not to cut your stitches because you've got to start again then. Now you could do as many pieces as you wanted. Mine is actually going to turn out to be about what's it going to end up at? 13 and a half ish, I think, by the time I finished it. So I'm just cutting into these corners, okay, like that. Careful not to cut my stitches, but they lay a lot flatter. Lie a lot flatter. So we're just coming in to the corners like that, and then this last one here. Like that. Okay. So now we're going to turn it inside out. So where are we? Oh, Nikki, we need pictures, Nikki. I'm going to do, once everybody's finished their tuffets and we've had pictures of them all, I want to do a montage. I'm going to get Sarah to show me how to do a proper reel and stuff. We'll put up montages of them all. So we're just now pulling these down. And you have a scalloped edge. So we're just pulling them, you know, trying to make them so that they're neat and thing. Now I've top stitched all my others with the colour of the fabric that I've used. Only my problem is I forgot to bring a red. So there's going to be cream on this one, I think, just to top stitch it into place. So we're just doing this. Yeah, I meant to pick up a red thread. So you're going to run extra classes, oh yeah, alongside the Tuffet class. So if you've already done the Tuffet and you still want to do a class, you can come and do the class. Right, so now you would iron that. Let's plug the iron in. So iron that flat and nice and neat, and then we will top stitch along that. Okay. So it's good when Sarah's there. She tells you all the news, doesn't she? She keeps you up to date. So we're just ironing this now. And we're going to come over here and top stitch it like this. Now I'm just picking a point. Pick a point on it, and I'm just going to stick. I've gone at a stop, so I'm now got a 3 instead of a 2.5. Just going to put in the top stitch, which holds it all down. So what are you guys all working on? Have you got do you do projects? Do you like to do a project and finish it? Do you have umpteen projects because you might think, oh, I fancy doing the plique today and I fancy building blocks tomorrow? Or do you have projects that are ongoing, that have been ongoing for years? You know, I know some of you do like hand stitching hexes and stuff, which is a long-term project, and I think if I had something like that, I would want very quick pieces that give you that sense of satisfaction when you're finished. I like to finish a project. I don't often, because you get halfway through a project and something else supersedes it. I find the new project supersedes the old project, but I do like a finished one. Right. I don't know how much of this I'm going to cut off, so I might have to keep going, because it would be just my luck. I would be cutting that bit off, or wouldn't be cutting that bit off. Okay, I'm going along here. There we go. So there we have our top stitched, not very well top stitched article. Okay, now you can see why I did it in the colour that they came in. So I now have a rainbow. Why anybody would be surprised, I don't know. So I've cut all those down to a certain size. So I'm going to just find this one here, and I'm going to cut this down at the same level. Okay, like this. And cut this down at the same level. Right, from here, from this point in my little demonstration, I have no idea how it's going to work out. Okay, so you're learning this alongside me. This is a work in progress. So I'm going to trim that off. What I did, now I remember rightly, I had a 2.5-inch ruler there. So what I did was I measured 2.5 inches from my top stitching. It's which doesn't look very straight, but about 2.5 inches from your little scallop. Okay, one of my scallops was a bit low, and we're just going to chop this bit off like that. Okay, so we now have, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different colours. I've got no pink. Why do I have no pink? I thought we had 8 colours. So we're just going to lay these. No, we're not. We're going to take our, this is going to be our front piece. Okay, so we need to layer them onto my front piece so that they're in the order that I want. And we're going to start with the red at the bottom, is it? Like that. Okay, so I know that my first line of stitching is going to be there. We're going to lay it. I'm not quite sure which is the best way to do this. We put that there, and that one there, and we can move it around from there. Okay, so all you want to do is create this. You don't want to see this. There is going to be a raw edge there, because I wasn't quite sure how else to do it, and like I say, I was away over the weekend and I was tired. So we're just laying this like this. And see if that fits. If not, we'll move it all down. So we're going along here. Can you see how it works yet? And that one. So I'm going to move this up a bit. Like that. And then a blue one. Now, looking at this, I could have used the calico behind as well, because we're yeah, we could have used the calico behind, because you're not going to see very much of this. Right, so we know that we want to be sewing these down. Okay, so if we take our ruler and our pen and do this like that, that is our placement line, okay, for the blue. And then this one would be our placement line for the green. As you can see, my green wasn't as wide as all the others, but I've cut it at the same thing with, so we're doing it like this. If I did a pattern, they're roughly, I have trouble with this ruler, 5, they're roughly 1 inch and 3/8, inch and a half roughly. So we do it 1.5 inches. Yeah, roughly 1.5 inches. So we're just going to pull it like this. That one, 1.5 inches there, like that. Okay, so these are our placement lines. We're going to place our red one, because that's my back one, on here, and we're going to pin it down. Okay, like that, and like that. And now I'm going to sew that, I'm just going to sew that piece down. Okay, So come with me over here. Where are we? Number 4. I'm going to pick a point like that, and I am going to just sew along there and sew it down. Like I say, we're working through this. This is how I work. I'm working through this as we go. Because I'm not quite sure how it's going to work from here. You're not going to see this raw edge. It's not as if it's going to end up in the washing machine. And you're not going to see your stitching on the back at the end of it. So we need to decide whether we're going to put in, I'm going to put in a line on this one because we want to hold it down. Okay, so we're going to put in a line here, which we're going to line up with that. Now I would have done this in the colours that I've got, and I'm going to just put in this line here which holds it in place there, and we can do that with different ones as we go. Trying to work out which one to press. So we're now going to put our orange over here. I love seeing how other people work. There we go. So hiya Heather and gang, how you doing? Thank you for joining us. We're just working our way through a little project, and we're working it out as we go along. So we're just putting this in place here. I'm just speeding through this now. Okay, I've got it on my placement line, and we're putting that through. Right, we can leave that one as a big one, because we I think if I do this again, I would put a basting line on this to hold it down as I'm sewing it, because you can see I'm getting quite a floppy bit. So I'm going along here. So yeah, I would probably baste along, at least at the sides, if not all the way along it. Just hold it flat. Maybe a bit of spray. However, that would have been difficult because we had to turn it inside out, didn't we? Just putting this along here. Pins out. So we're working our way all the way down. Got our pale green here. And I'm lining it up with the placement lines. You missed what's being made. We are making a notice board. You know, one where you can stick whatever patterns you're working on, put your letters, you know, that you need to deal with, bills and things. So we're just putting these in. I mean, this technique could be used for all sorts of things. But you could use prairie points and sew those down. You could do it square if you don't want to do scallops. If you scallop, then you could do it square, which would also work. Would look like a castle battlement. Okay, right, remember this one was a bit short. Okay, there we go. I think with this one we're going to sew it down. Should I have sewn one of the others down? I'm going to have a look. So I'm going along here, keep pressing the wrong buttons. I'm sewing this one in place. So we're losing all of this. So each time I'm not actually sewing through a large amount of fabric because each one is missing a little bit. Okay, so with this one I am going to put a line here like that. Which will hold that bit down like that. And you could have put these lines which stops it falling apart too much. We could stick another one by there. Well, we can. And we stick another one there. So, there we go. Yeah, buying kits and fabric and stuff is, you think, oh, that's great, I'm going to go home, I'm going to make this. And then you get home and then you remember that you're in the middle of something so that it gets put away for you to come back to. And then you just don't. I've got bag kits there that would be an easy little make, and which is what I thought when I bought it. Okay, so we're nearly there, kids, we're nearly there. So we're going along here. And the final one, where's that? So if we stick a bit of a line down this one here. You don't actually see these lines because they're all hidden underneath the bit on top. So final one is going here, and then I'll show you how to put it together. Yeah, there it is. I wondered where I'd left the last piece. Okay, looks like fish scales, doesn't it? Ooh, what can I do with that? Fish scales. Okay, so we'll put the last bit in here. Now, if you do get round to doing this, I do expect you to smooth it all out better than this because we're rushing here, okay? Okay. take it over here. Oh, I'm loving this. Right, so wait, 2. Okay, so now we have this. All right, so I am. Let's stick one in there. I would definitely do this line the colour of the ones that I have, of the fabric. We're just going to stick it along here. I'll be back now. Don't go away. I'm going to put one there. And I'm going to put one there. And put that one there. So. Okay. So I've just stuck some there, which will stop it flopping forward. I mean, you've got some big ones here, but this is all going to be sewn down. So you've got 2 large ones here. You've got one with 2 pockets, 2 larger ones, and then there's 2 pockets there, 2 pockets there, 2 pockets there, like that, and then you've got 3 little ones on the front. All right, so we are now going to build this. So I've brought some ribbon, just so that you can hang it. Okay, so that will go like that, and then I've got calico to go on the back, and we're going to pin all this together. All right, and then sew it. Now somehow it should fit. Looks like my cutting, as normal, was way out. Cut your pieces together. All right, when you're cutting them, cut them together, and that way you'll have them the same size. This one seems to be a little bit bigger on the bottom. So we're going to pin this now. So we're going to start with those there, like that. And then we're going to pin these all the way around. Okay. Now we're going to sew them, leaving bit to turn out at the bottom. I have put interfacing on both my underneath one and my backing. I've put interfacing on both of them because I want it to be quite stiff. I also have a piece of pelmet stuff, you know, so it's stiffer, which I'm hoping to get up inside. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so I'm going to sew from here all the way up and back round. Okay, I'm going to leave the bottom open to turn the right way round and then stick this up. Now what you could do is put it so that they're wrong sides together and then bind it. That might have been a better way of doing it. You could bind it, but I didn't think about that, so we're doing it this way. Right, back to 4. So we are just going to go, I've still got it on a 3 because there's quite a bit of bulk here now. Okay, you think about what you're going through all the way round. So we're going up and down. The trouble is, Carol, with a sort out is that you end up finding things that you'd forgotten and then wanting to play with them there and then. Well, that's what happens to me. And then I get waylaid, and I don't do what I set out to do. I end up with bags and bags of, oh, I was going to do this. I'm terrible. I can't throw anything away. Sarah throws almost everything. You know, not used it, throw it away. I'm terrible. I have trouble throwing stuff away. So I'm trying to keep all this fairly straight. Right, I'm back over here. And what we're going to do is we're going to chop off some of this because it's a bit big. I'm going to come along here and just chop this off. And we're going to cut into the corners to make them a bit easier to turn out. And then, fingers crossed, oh, that didn't work. I've just lost the pin. Fingers crossed this will work now. Like I say, we have not gone this far yet. Seems to have worked. So we're turning this round the right way. You ready for this? Like this. Oh, completely missed that bit there. Right, I'm going to have to turn it round and re-stitch. I need a bigger seam allowance. You can see I've completely missed it on that side. It's gone okay on the other side. So I would push all this out now. Okay, and iron it like that so that it is flat, and then I would top stitch, turn this under so you've got your hem on there, and then top stitch all the way round. So in order to make it stiffer again, I cut this. Now I don't know, I think I'm going to have to make it smaller, yeah. Just a bit off that one. So we'll take off a bit off the sides. Like that. It was all done under guesstimation. Okay. So now I would stick that in there. It's still too big. Like that. Okay, so all that would be flat, top stitched, and then, I mean, you could even put, well, you couldn't put big rulers. If you made those pockets bigger underneath, oh, don't even think about it, Sir. I was going off onto a tangent then. So your letters would fit in like that. Ta-da! There's another project that's going to go in a partly finished project bag, ready for the next time we do a Facebook charity drive thing. Quite like this. I'm quite liking it. I might make a mermaid's tail like this. This is quite cool. So there's your note back, and it would just hang from there. Haha. So where am I? There. Looks quite good on screen as well. So there you go. You could use cardboard if you didn't have any of the pellet stuff. Yes, of course you could. It's just that we have a shop and I had stuff in there, and it was cut that, which I could do with a rotary cutter, or go and find some cardboard. So which there'd be loads of it there because Sarah's been having a tidy again. So we need another UFO charity day. We really do. I've still got bags and bags of stuff that's half finished. It was really good. It does look lush, doesn't it, Carol? I'm very pleased with it, but it's all in my colours. So, yeah. So you would hang it like that. And so, yeah, you could increase the size of the pockets and then sew each of these onto the pocket behind before you put them on, which would mean that maybe your back ones could be longer and you'd then be able to put your rulers or something in it. Although we do have a pattern for a ruler hanger, which I'm quite pleased with. So, yeah. Right, I'm going to go and find some salad or something now. Foam board, yeah, you could pin into it as well. Perfect. I thought I had some of that at home, but couldn't find it. Probably threw it out. I don't do things like that. So, I will see you next week. Sarah's here with Block of the Week tomorrow, so she will remind you about the counter sale and what's going on Create and Craft and all of that jazz. And we will, I'll see you Saturday. Okay? Bye. You're very welcome.